Hello, it's Jay here again and welcome to another video. So in this lesson we're carrying on with the enemy spawn point manager, and in this lesson we are going to work on actual spawning the enemy spawn points into the scene. And as you can see, I've got the player instantiate script open as well. We will need that. But for now, let's come to the spawn point manager script. Right at the very top, we're going to create of type public, of type game object with a capital G. We'll open and close square brackets, and we'll give this a naming convention of enemy spawn points. We'll close the line off, create an array in the inspector to assign the enemy spawn points. Let's just copy that whole line, we'll paste it in below, and game object will change to vector3. We're still going to keep the brackets, and we'll change the naming convention to underscore enemy spawn point positions. Let's just change that in the comments as well. Okay, with those two now created, let's come down to the very bottom of the script, just before the last close bracket, and we're going to create a type public void, and we'll give this a naming convention of instantiate enemy spawn points. Let's open and close brackets. We'll open and close again. Inside the second set of brackets, we're going to say for open and close brackets again. Inside those brackets, we're going to say int let's use ESM equals 0 semicolon. In fact, let's use the underscore ESM. Just keep everything consistent. Underscore ESM. The less than symbol. Enemy spawn points dot length. Semicolon again. Underscore ESM. Plus plus. We'll come to the end of the line and we'll open and close brackets. In fact, no, we don't actually, I don't think we'll be coming back to add more code, so we shouldn't really need those. So let's just come to the next line and we'll call instantiate. Open and close brackets, close the line off, inside the brackets, underscore, enemy spawn points. We're going to open and close the square brackets again. Inside those square brackets, we're going to say ESM. And then we're going to come here after the close bracket, the close square bracket, but before the close bracket normal, we're going to say comma, enemy spawn point positions, square brackets, open and close again inside underscore ESM. Then come just beyond the close bracket, close square brackets, we're going to say comma, transform dot rotation. We're not defining the rotation as anything this time, it doesn't really matter, but we've got to do it. So now that is finished, let's break this up for commenting. Let's have a look here. Yeah, the comments may be slightly out, but it'll be okay. Let's have a look. We'll say create an int underscore ESM and make it equal to 0. The next line, then assign the enemy spawn point length as the value of underscore ESM. So you may wish to rephrase this, but all we're doing is creating an int with this naming convention is going to be equal to 0, and then we're getting the length of the spawn points, which is how many we have assigned in this array, and then we're increasing this naming convention so it matches. So I hope that makes sense to you all, but we'll carry on. So we'll come to the next line and we'll use in the comments instantiate enemy spawn. Just fix that typo. We'll say instantiate enemy spawn points in the array at the corresponding value in the spawn positions array at transform and rotation. So we're instantiating all the spawn points in the array at the corresponding position within the next array, which is enemy spawn points position. So if this is instantiating enemy spawn point 2, it will be position 2 in the array at the transform. And as I said, we need to put rotation, but rotation value makes no difference in this instance. So with that now in place, let's save that off and we'll come to the player instantiate, and we're going to copy all of this. So where we begin with enemy spawn point manager to the calling cache player for enemy spawn line, and we'll paste that all in again. So let's go through and change what needs to be changed. We need to change this naming convention. Let's use underscore instantiate enemy spawn. So I'll use IESP. We'll change that in the comments. We're still finding the same game object with the tag get component is still the same. This now changes to underscore IESP. And we're calling a different function. We're obviously calling the one we've just created, instantiate enemy spawn points. Let's copy that into the comments, tidy everything up, and we'll save that off. Let's downsize Visual Studio, so enemy spawn point manager in resources. We're now going to come to prefabs. We'll create of type empty game object, reset the transform if needed, and we'll give this a naming convention of enemy spawn point 0. We'll enter, we'll drag that into our prefabs folder this time. We can delete it out the scene. We'll click on the new prefab. We'll use Control D and that should duplicate. And as you can see, it's renamed it to enemy spawn point 1. We'll now select that one. Control D again, and as you can see, it's been renamed to 2. So let's come to our enemy spawn point managers. So I have 3 of. Same for positions. We'll just click on the prefabs folder and we'll drag and drop those in. As you can see, always, even though we say 3, it doesn't count 1, 2, 3. It always counts 0, 1, 2, 3. Hence the naming convention, just in case you was wondering. So I've dragged all 3 of those in, and the positions, I'm going to set all the first one to number 1, all the second ones to number 2, and then 3. Obviously these values are completely illogical for a game, but it is just for testing, and we'll hit play. So don't destroy on load. There's our enemy spawn point manager. We'll just run through quickly. Loading complete. Let's load the scene. We'll open up game world, and as you can see, we have enemy spawn point 0, 1 and 2. Now if you look at the position values, as you can see, spawn point 0, they're all 1s. The next one is all 2s, and the next one is all 3s. So what you can do, if we just stop that, is obviously if you come to your game world, and just for test, well, not for testing, but for just for getting things correct within your project, I should say, come to a particular point. So let's say I want to spawn point here. I will create empty, and obviously I can position that wherever I like till I find values I'm happy with, and I can then use them, and I can copy those values into whichever spawn point position I want to make this. Now there are lots of different ways to do enemy spawn points, but I just felt that this one would be the most easy to understand, and more importantly would be suitable for all your projects, because I know all of you will have your projects set up differently, so I always try to code things in a way that will suit all your projects. So we'll leave it there for this lesson. So as always, I hope you enjoyed this lesson. I hope to see you next time. And until then, as always, bye for now.